Hi, my name is Mark Sophis. I'm a graduate of Michigan State and the executive producer of OutCasting. OutCasting's mission is to give a national voice to LGBTQ youth, train a new generation of media activists, and contribute to our national discussion of LGBTQ issues. The program is an important part of the public education component of LGBTQ advocacy. We are here today to tell you about OutCasting's new bureau at Michigan State. We hope you'll want to join us. OutCasting can be heard on about 48 public radio stations affiliated with the Pacifica Radio Network. It can also be heard on demand and by podcast from our website, outcastingmedia.org. And it can be heard in iTunes. Our new bureau at Michigan State gives you the opportunity to get involved. You'll be able to add your voice, build your skills, and get great public radio experience. The show has always had a mix of LGBTQ youth and straight allies, and that's what we're hoping for at MSU. And it's okay if you're closeted. We can take steps to conceal your identity. OutCasting is based in Westchester County, New York, just north of New York City. It began in 2011 at a public radio station I started a long time ago, WDFH FM 90.3 Westchester Public Radio. Ultimately, we took WDFH off the air, changed the name of our organization to Media for the Public Good, and took OutCasting national. All of that happened in 2013, and it was the first stage in OutCasting's growth. The second stage came in 2014, when we opened a bureau in New York City. I lead our weekly production sessions in both the home studio in Westchester and the New York City bureau. Now we're at the third stage, the opening of a bureau at Michigan State. This is our first bureau outside the New York area, and the first one I won't be leading myself, which is really exciting because it's bringing in an entirely new group of people, hopefully including you. The development of this new OutCasting bureau at Michigan State began in November 2014 when we had a conversation with Dee Hurlburt, the director of the MSU LBGT Resource Center. Dee is a big public radio fan and immediately took to the idea of opening a bureau at Michigan State. Since then, we've gotten the support and involvement of Impact 88.9 FM WDBM, the student radio station here on campus. OutCasting has gotten some amazing national press. GLAAD, a national media watchdog agency, said that OutCasting provides some of the most honest and accurate representations of LGBT and allied youth in the media. And in the fall of 2014, The Advocate said, in-depth, well-researched, and punchy. NPR-level production values. What makes all of this remarkable is that most of the people working on the show are barely old enough to drive. These articles and others are available on the press page at outcastingmedia.org. OutCasting covers a wide range of LGBTQ topics. We produce 3 different kinds of programs: documentaries, long-form interviews, and first-person accounts. Most mainstream media are driven by events and spend very little time exploring the complex issues behind events. During the year before OutCasting got started, there was a rash of LGBTQ teen suicides. TV stations covered them in the usual way, and you can probably imagine their stories. The obligatory candlelight vigil, the shocked friends, the distraught parents, nobody saw this coming, the school is bringing in counselors, and on to the next story. In contrast, OutCasting is driven not by events, but by issues which we cover in depth. We bring in well-known and authoritative guests when the topic calls for it. One of our earliest programs covered bullying and teen suicide prevention. Our guest on that program was Dan Savage, co-founder of the It Gets Better project. He's also an author and activist. We've done a lot of transgender work, and in fact, this photo was taken during an interview we did with a transgender athlete named Chris Mosier about issues faced by trans people in sports. That's OutCasting youth participant Travis on the left and Chris on the right. We're also working on a program about issues faced by transgender people in getting appropriate health care. Our 2 main guests for that program are Dr. Marcy Bowers, a well-known trans surgeon, and Michael Silverman, the executive director of the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. Marcy will bring a doctor's perspective to the program, and Michael will provide a policy-oriented legal perspective. We also talked with 3 trans women who have faced difficulties in the medical system. So that's an example of how we combine personal stories, which connect emotionally with listeners, and expert perspectives, which provide important information on the topics we cover. You can develop a wide range of skills at OutCasting. Reaching out to potential guests requires that you be able to make business phone calls and write professional emails. You'll learn about journalism, interviewing techniques, and writing and speaking for broadcast. Much of the fight for LGBTQ civil rights takes place in the legal arena, so we often discuss relevant areas of law. You develop your research skills. You can learn digital editing and production and promotion. It looks great on your resume because few people of your age have substantive experience working on a nationally distributed public radio program. And finally, you develop a deep understanding of the issues we cover. We are working to expand OutCasting's reach and influence. The intention of this growth is twofold. First, because the show is now heard in many parts of the country, we want it to reflect LGBTQ youth ideas, perspectives, and experiences from many parts of the United States. And second, we're working to increase our production schedule. Right now, we produce about 8 new half-hour programs each year. Our short-term goal is to increase to monthly production and eventually to weekly. This expansion will make OutCasting more attractive to a larger number of public radio stations. The OutCasting Bureau at Michigan State is a key part of that expansion. I'd like to thank everyone who has gotten us to this point. Dee Hurlbert of the MSU LBGT Resource Center, Alicia Johnson, Ed Glazer, Gabriella Saldivia, and Sammy Leonardo of WDBM, Sue Carter, and Taylor Kelsaw, who is going to be the MSU Bureau Producer. Our website can be reached at mfpg.org or outcastingmedia.org. Both addresses will take you to the site. Thanks so much for coming today. I hope we've interested you in joining OutCasting.